Greetings and welcome to Pezliz Presents, brought to you by Polymaker. Of course, Pezliz Presents is a show that is set up to introduce Polymaker to some new designers and give those designers an opportunity to add their models to the Polymaker portfolio, where Polymaker can of course give them credit and also help them out a little bit when it comes to being part of the overall community. And tonight's guest, I'm super excited to introduce you to because he is a fellow Canadian. And also he is a designer who has been breaking my brain for years. So I think we're just gonna lead with that, and I'm going to welcome in DaveMakesStuff.
How's it going? Most people probably know from my skull avatar and my
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm a bit of a hermit. Nobody knows what I look like. So,
well, I did have the pleasure of meeting you in person at last year's Rocky Mountain Rep Festival. I was really thrilled.
Great, yeah.
Of course,
and that was my first event.
Yeah, it was your first event, and of course you were ambushed by me. And I think I did the thing that I do where I like drag you around to meet people and.
You always had this network around you of
yes.
people that you connected and brought together. So that's it.
And that's kind of why. Well, that is why Polymaker asked me to be a liaison between Polymaker and designers, because I'm from small town Nova Scotia, and I'm a connector. it's just what we do. But for anyone that is new to you. Introduce yourself and let us know how Dave Makes Stuff came to be.
Sure, yeah. I got started in 3D printing probably my first exposure to it was probably like 2016, 2017, so quite a while ago. And it was through a local makerspace, the Langley Maker Cube. So anyone in BC West, in the coast area here, check it out. It's a great group. And they've got like the woodwork and all that sort of stuff, which is kind of what drew me there. But then got exposed to 3D printing, courses and things like that they had there, and so that sort of got me into it. And it took me a long time to actually buy my own 3D printer. It's about a half an hour drive to get to this makerspace. So I went a couple of years just going back and forth, which takes a long time to design anything when you design it and then drive half an hour to print it and then come back again. So yeah, that was my first exposure to it. I was just went there with my kids who were in elementary school at the time. So it was sort of part of the kind of parenting and teaching my kids these sorts of things. And it just sort of started attaching to all these other interests that I have. My day job, I'm a physiotherapist, so that sort of, if you look back in my catalog, there's a lot of bones, a lot of my early designs.
Yeah, okay.
I was doing a lot for work and for clinical education, things like that. And then, so the timeline, right before, COVID was probably great for the 3D printing hobby industry. Right before, as shutdown was happening, and I didn't have my own printer, and I knew, okay, I work in a hospital. I'm gonna need some hobby at home here for the next little while. So I ran out just in the days before things were shutting down, and it was an Ultimaker 2 Plus that I picked up with my first 3D printer. And it was during that time, COVID lockdown, that I did a lot of my learning design work on Onshape and stretch mixer, some of those those early easy things. Things kind of took off from there, and it's I don't do as many anatomical designs right now, but really into sort of the mathematical designs. Really into doing organic natural designs right now. So it's great. It's one of the things I like about the hobby, the 3D printing part and the design part, is it's not single tracked. It's sort of, it can come with you as your interests in life change, whether it's as a parent and you're making things for your kids or your cats, or now we're more into the procedural design and kind of the mathematics of things. It's still there, and I can still make things, and it's still a creative output.
So do you remember the first model that you designed where you thought, okay, this is me and this is what I want to share?
Well, So
the first one that you designed that you thought this would be worth sharing.
Yeah. Where it's actually, I mean, right now, none of my designs are functional. I've gone totally away from things being functional. I've unmoored myself from that dock, and but early on it was functional things, and one of the first prints was a little on the spice rack. Always keep your wife happy with these hobbies. So it was a request from my wife, a little a slide thing that would you put the iPad on and it would slide out for recipes, and the iPad was visible, and it would sort of slide back into sort of low profile. So that was sort of the first functional print, and then yeah. So the first bit was more mechanical and gears and things like that. You know, I have to show you this one. Do you know that? Have you seen this, Liz?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So I mean, this was fun preparing for this interview, because it sort of let me go back and look at the trajectory of where you know, those sort of turning points. So I'd done a few functional things, you know, some vases and things like that, and this is sort of what kicked it off. This is the first thing that went viral. So that's my Black & Decker drill, and this is a mechanical little top that screws on, and there's a little cluster of gears in there, and it's
is that for spaghetti? Is it a back scratcher? Is it
I mean, I designed it. I had it was around Christmas, and I had some ballerinas and some sort of funny things like that. But you know, the things that go viral are never the things that you expect to go viral. So I thought, that would be funny if I stuck some you know, some fork, reusable forks on there, and I did. I took a short little video of me eating spaghetti with it. The spaghetti
buster. There you go, buffet buster. Creepy Kevin came up with the name.
And, yeah, so that sort of went viral. That's sort of when I thought, okay, this is something I'm going to do a little more out there. So. Spaghetti monster weapon. It was quite memed, actually. There, if it still pops up every once in a while. I get these spaghetti monster.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Accurate spaghetti fork or something. Anyways.
And so, when did you start? When did you start sharing on the file repositories, like Things and
Thingiverse first. It was well before Things came out, and then just sort of posting really crap. And
you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. And as things got you know, a little better, I reached out and made the connection with Thanks, and that's I don't really post on Thingiverse anymore. It's 100% Thanks right now.
Yeah,
just an easier platform to work with.
Now I looked through your catalog, and I was trying to find descriptors for your models. I came up with organic, whimsical, esoteric, and delightfully unsettling.
Good.
Now, how would you describe your style?
Come over some delightfully unsettling tea.
Yes, the teeth cup is definitely one that I think that was one of the first things that really caught my eye. And then I realized, I had seen other models, but yeah, the whole tooth collection is definitely.
Yeah, I went through a bit of a tooth obsession. It wasn't pretty. I admit that.
So you started out doing some practical things, and then you went like full whimsical. So how would you describe your? How would you describe your style?
It was fun doing the posting and trying to get downloads and sort of following what people liked and sort of and doing that. I took a year off, actually. I've been back to it for a year. About a year ago now. I honestly, it was just creative burnout. Like, I just couldn't come up with any ideas. So before that, I was doing kind of more the quick turnover type things, and now since I'm starting back, I'm really trying to get into more of those long projects that take a lot of learning and skill, or learning the skills. So a bit of a different pre burnout and post burnout.
Okay.
A different outlook on
so I mean, we can scroll through a little bit here while I ask this next question. Where does your inspiration usually come from, especially for pre and post burnout?
I mean, right now you can see there's a lot of organic a lot of organic things. So the things I see, I mean, my wife and I, she laughs because we're going out on a walk, and I'll stop by and I'll pull a branch off of a spruce tree, and I'll just stare at this, and I'll just study it. Or we're grocery shopping, I stop and I pick up an artichoke or something like that.
Yeah.
Back, you'll get to the artichoke. It's things like that. Right now, it's things like that catch my eye. Patterns in nature, interesting mathematical shapes or curves or surfaces that a lot of architecture. I follow a lot of architecture posts, and something like that will catch my eye.
There's so much. It's so eclectic too. Now, do your ideas? So you said you pick something up and you take a look at it. So do those ideas usually start as a visual, or how does your brain work?
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is a chrysanthemum design that I did a little while ago, and I've done a few of these. I love that it's called phyllotaxis, that sort of arrangement of petals that you see, that you see in different things, artichokes and different flowers and things like that. So that, to answer your question, I would see something like that, and I would try to, first of all, try to learn how nature makes that. What are the design, what's nature's design process, and then once I figure that out, try to make some things from it. So it's pretty free flow. I mean, I find for me, designing is it's almost therapeutic. It's like a play. Right now I don't necessarily go into it with a set product or vision in mind that I want to get, but I'll start on the way, and then that process takes me on all sorts of side quests, and it's often those side quests that being the end design. So I mean, I think before, pre-burnout, I was probably more focused on timelines and trying to I have an exact thing in mind. I want to get there. I want to get it out. I want to get content posted and up like that. And that's its own form of excitement, I think. But
for sure. Yeah. I think part of the way that and burnout, I mean, we are really talking about uploading things to Thangs, right? That's your platform of choice. Even as someone who prints models, the way that Thangs sort of had their growth path was to have people feel that urgency. And even as someone who prints and posts makes, the maker contest aspect of it was, I'd have designers emailing me like, a couple days before, this is what I'm going to be posting. And then the deadline used to be midnight. Yeah. And I'd be waiting at midnight with this beautiful picture of something. And then they're like, oh yeah, I fell asleep. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to play that game anymore. But yeah. And there was
good energy. I mean, there was good energy.
Yeah,
I love
good energy, but yeah. And then they did change the way things worked. Like it used to be like they wanted quantity at first. And then you started seeing people put like the entire designers put the entire alphabet up, to get the points and stuff.
Download A. Tune in next week for B.
Yeah. And then the free for 1 week and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can definitely understand the burnout. So now post burnout, you just kind of go with what you feel like doing, or how does that work?
Yeah. And like I mean, I tend to obsess about things a little bit too. So right now, I mean, my current obsession is capillaries. And doing the programming behind, how, and digitally, how do the capillaries form, and how do they form from a trunk, and when do they decide to branch off, and when do they branch, and how do they, get smaller and smaller. So my obsession right now is with these, trying to figure out a procedural design to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like I do that a lot. I get an idea, and then I make, the program that I work with mostly is Topography, which is, we can talk about, a separate conversation, but it's really well suited for these procedural designs, where you're programming subroutines to do the different parts of the design, and then at the end of it, I'll have like what's an example, like this this beanstalk here, which is, I mean, this is resin printed. I designed a whole program that just makes a beanstalk. So it's there's maybe 10 variables that I put in at the beginning, and
okay. So yeah, because when I print your things, like the coral, for example, I'm like, this coral looks almost the same, but it's a little bit different. Do I have that? I had a piece of the coral. Yeah, I had a piece of the coral on my. Yeah. I loved that too, because it was like deciding which ones to print, and then of course looking at how they connected, and so
it's taken an obscene amount of time to figure out to do the programming, like way out of proportion to the actual thing you get at the end. But once you have it, it's easy to put up. I do a lot of collections, so collections of starfish, collections of sea anemones, and they're all a little bit different, and it's because
I did all 100 pumpkins.
No way.
Yeah, I printed all 100 pumpkins.
I've got a pumpkin algorithm that makes
which was really fun because one of my friends, she has like 1,000 trick-or-treaters, and so I brought all 100 pumpkins with me, and she handed those out, and of course there were probably families where the kids would be like, "What pumpkin did you get?" I said, "Yeah, these are all different pumpkins." So actually, number 100 I printed like giant. I printed it big.
I don't even have any of those. I gave those all away. So, but that's the core of my passion is making these programs, and then some of them just sit, some of them sit on the hard drive and never do anything, and then some actually make it to production, and then the printing and then posting.
Yeah, the problem with your models for me, the problem with your models is that when I print them, everybody wants one. Everybody wants it, so it's gone. If I don't take a picture, it is gone. It is gone. I think your models are definitely one of the ones. Oh yeah, this is not all here. This is not all 101 pumpkins, but close.
Oh, nice. That's great.
And that's Polymaker neon orange. So they kind of glow on their own. Yeah, with the big pumpkin there. But that's not even all 100, because I counted. I'm like, I think that's only like 74. So then I had to go back and see what plate I had missed to print. So.
Oh dear. Yeah, it was great. And I have a partnership with a local preschool network of preschools, actually.
Yes.
And this is a problem, especially for people who print or people who design, and all of the test models and things like that. I mean, they build up. So every couple of weeks, I bring a box of my either finished designs and perfected, or all my fails and designs that didn't work, all my prototypes, and deliver them to this preschool, and then they're distributed throughout Vancouver and Surrey and Langley. And
that's so fun.
So if you're looking, like you and your pumpkins, and you say you never I actually found it hard to find some prints, little prints for today, because
you don't take a picture, it's gone. It's gone. It's so funny.
I would recommend that for people, printing or designing. You get the collection of things building up. Find a preschool. Just love them. They share pictures, and if it's not the end result, the end thing that they're using as a toy, they use it and they add, they interpret it, they add eyeballs, or they make their own thing out of it. So it's great to see that creativity continue. Yeah.
Now, of course, one thing that's really drawn me to your work is the anatomical models. Are there particular anatomical models that like pushed you or challenged you creatively, or surprised you?
Well,
when you were doing them.
This, I mean, I'll show off first.
I love the heart.
Yeah, the heart. I mean, the skull. This was actually one of my first designs. This skull. I mean, it took months and months and months. Like it's
your signature, though, for sure.
Yeah. It's 18 piece. It's all magnetic, and it comes apart. So, that was the first anatomic one. And I do a lot of partnerships. So I work with a lot of nonprofits that do clinical education for medical education or therapy, like physiotherapy in developing countries, and they need the models to use in education. A lot of the impetus for that came from people also, even in locally Canada and the US, who for clinical education wanted anatomically accurate models, but that didn't have all the big branding. Like if you go, oftentimes the models.
And you go to the doctor, says like GlaxoSmithKline. It's like,
yeah, the big thing on it. So people, there's a real market for that. So a lot of them came from requests for that. I've worked with a lot of physicians, anesthesiologists, surgeons that want a particular, they want to use the model for a particular either procedure or a particular way of explaining the anatomy. So I mean, I've got enough of, being a physiotherapist, I've got enough of the anatomy to know what they're looking for, and I'm able to combine that, make a model that unclips where they need it to unclip. I've done some work with veterinarian places too for surgeries as well. So taking MRIs of dog bones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's I don't do this much anymore, but I did really enjoy the anatomy. I mean, I did a funny design. The grandson of the first surgeon to do a hip surgery, he wanted a specialized hip design for his grandfather, so I made him a special hip.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a lot of stuff sort of behind the scenes that goes on. This was probably one of my first designs here. It's a spine that is just ball and socket.
That is cool.
And that led to one of my other designs that was popular. It was an articulating spine, but without the full spine body there, and it had things you could sew it onto your shirt.
Oh yes, the wearable. Yes, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
I use a lot of cosplay, and I see that popping up quite a bit, especially around Halloween. I always get lots of downloads of that. So yeah, it's the spine. The spine has processes and the little pieces that go off, but with holes that you can, and a positioning template that you can put it on your.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have any more design. I saw at the hospital. I've got my desk at the hospital has a huge big display of.
That's amazing.
I use it for work, so all the.
Now you did mention, of course, you used resin for a couple different things there. Yeah. Now especially a lot of your recent designs are meant for resin, but you often do make them work for FDM, for filament. So how do you approach that challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I got into resin, and it's amazing. There's just no limits to the angles and the detail that you can put into it. So oftentimes I'll aim towards my vision with as it would come out in resin. There's one of my staircases, which is just insane. I mean, all the little struts are 1/3 of a millimeter. So I aim for the high detailed resin model, but I do always try to have an easier FDM print. So same with these little hens and chicks models like that. That's resin, and it's sharp. That's kind of the neat quality you get from the resin. You get actually really sharp edges and really crisp. But there's an FDM print where it's just the leaves are a little bit thicker, and the spacings, the angles are a little more forgiving on the FDM models. So yeah, I do. Yeah,
because every time I see you publish a model, I'm like, can I print this? Is this? Yeah. And then you'll surprise me. Yeah, I'm like, don't break my heart, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's different challenges for both. And different constraints. I think that's what's exciting about a model or about the design process is you have this vision that you want to work for, or a process that you're really interested in exploring. But it's always constrained by either the overhang angles of FDM printing or size, or there's different constraints that come up in the printing with resin too.
So as FDM evolves, I mean, we're able to do so many detailed things, and I've been able to do some incredible stuff.
Sure.
Has that changed the way you approach things, or does that influence you at all, knowing that it is possible?
I try to keep to be honest, my printing skills aren't great. Like I use the printer to sort of validate and do test runs. My focus is the design. So I try to keep things fairly simple to print. So I've got that is actually the Low Spot Pro, but I've got a multi. It's just a dual head the TAS 8 printer. So 2 colors is the most that I do for design. So I'm not getting into any complicated. And most of my designs I want to be able to be printed with any, with any printer, with any skill level. It's what I aim for with the FDM models. Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to FDM, though, do you find that when it comes to filament, do you find that filament choices change your model, change the mood or the impact of your model?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's been a funny progression. If you go back in my catalog or my Instagram, when I first started, I had this vision of like all my models in white, because white really shows up contours and shadows and things like that. And I wanted, I honestly, I went years printing nothing but white filament, and companies would approach me and say, "We've got this color that we'd like you to." No, I just do white, and it does. It's got its strengths.
Yes, there's a lot of white.
Yeah. So I'm growing. I'm expanding. I was quite intimidating by printing with color actually for a while. So this is good for me, Liz. You're sending me a whole bunch of different polymer.
Yes, and if you don't know, I have a show on Wednesdays called In Printing Color.
Yeah.
So it's not everything but Dave's stuff.
So I mean, I have changed now, and I really do love getting just random filament, and I do get companies just sending random filament, and I love it. I love taking a look at the filament and trying to see what its highlights are and how to best showcase it or feature those highlights. So now that's part of the design challenge. Actually, I do enjoy that. I've progressed beyond.
No, speaking of course, you printing all in white, and then other people not. With Thangs, of course, people publish their makes, and in other platforms, is there any time that someone has made something of yours and you're like, I never thought that, it's printed like that? Have you been surprised then by that?
I wouldn't say surprised. I mean, I think it's always a joy to see when people print your things, and I think filament choice is a part of it. So I mean, my aesthetic at the time was printing in monocolor, but it's always nice to see how people reinterpret, whether it's a digital remix or just printing it in a different color.
Yeah, we had a conversation earlier this week, and I was talking about your ornaments, the sort of retro style ornaments. I'm trying to find them for reference. Yeah. And then I said, oh yeah, I was talking about what to do if you end up with the ends of filament, or if you have some tricolor filament stuff. And you said, yeah, people actually, you noticed there was like an uptick of downloads of this. This is one of my favorite, the spiralized vintage ornaments, and I print them every single year. There's my that's nice. That's a make from back in the day. Nice. And that was a tricolor filament, and I think this one might be who's here. We definitely have a couple. Well, there's a couple people that have printed them. I think the texture.
And I love I love doing designing for spiralized printing. I mean, my opinion, unpopular opinion perhaps, is like transparent, translucent filament should only be printed in spiralized mode. Like why ruin a good translucent filament with a Z seam or something like that? So
this is the Polymaker. Here, I'll show you the full thing. The Celestial Rainbow, and I actually threw a light in this because it's so fun. And this is the Celestial blue white. Yeah, and I was like, I had done ornaments, but of course the transition on these filaments, I'd have to do like a bazillion, and you can't do spiralized. Multiple spiralized on one build plate. So I was like, how am I going to do this? So then I went and I found, he did a giant spiralized sphere. So now I have, I have a giant version. And this is fascinating. And for a lot of people, if you're running down to the end of filament, or if you want to see what these filaments have translucency, they're not completely transparent. So, but if you want to see the capabilities of it, absolutely, play around with that. And you definitely make it easy to have fun, because for people who might not know, this is 2 halves. They're printed very easily. on on
It
your
uses
printer.
barely any filament. That's I think that's the biggest thing I've been able to print with the smallest amount of filament. It's yeah. It took a long time to figure out how to. I mean, that's what I started with was how can I spiralize print a sphere? Because the angles are all wrong. I mean, you can't the angle at the top of a sphere. You can't spiralize print that. It would just fall in. So it took a long time to figure that out. But yeah,
I love that.
Spin off to that. There was a whole bunch of spin off from that particular design. But yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you like that. That was fun.
So now that you are stepping a little further away from the white zone, what excites you most about filaments? Like the gradients or different finishes and stuff. What does that impact your design?
A couple prints off with the filament that you sent. Is now a good time to
yeah, sure. Yeah, let's talk about it.
So let me talk about. So we were talking before the show. Our live portion started here about black mold. I think it was a story about your hotel you'd stayed in.
Yes.
So you sent me the Galaxy Black. Let me just pull it out here. My first thought is, oh, black. I hate printing black. I mean, I print some functional models with black, but it typically doesn't catch it doesn't catch the shadows. The shadows just disappear, so you can't see contours. And I first looked at it, and I thought, well, that's not even gradient. But if you look closely, there's actually a gradient to it, isn't it? It's like black to gray. So I've been playing around with different topologies, so just different ways of shaping space, and whether mathematically or just playing around with different design. So that's my black mold. I mean,
it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful black mold I've ever seen.
I mean, it would be interesting to print this with a gradient filament as well, because you get the different colors on the inside meshes. It's just this sort of funky, almost slime kind of thing. Which honestly,
cool.
If I just printed that in just straight like a matte black or even a glossy black, you wouldn't see all of those little like the inside bits, or it would just disappear. But yeah, so I tried it with this with this. What is it called again? I guess the Galaxy Black, right?
Yeah, I think it's the Galaxy black and dark gray, maybe. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, you can actually see some of the little sparkle in there. You can see some of the contours a little bit better. The gradient between the gray and the black, you can actually see some of the inside bit. So yeah, so I'm gonna play. I mean, that was just a test print. I'm gonna play around with that a little bit. It was good inspiration, and I'm not sure if anyone has any ideas what would be interesting to make with that. A goblet, or I don't know, maybe some landscape or something. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that was the that was what surprised me. I guess out of the filaments that you sent was that one. The one I had the most fun with. You sent me. There's two rainbow ones. This is not the luminescent. This is the translucent.
The translucent rainbow. Yeah.
The translucent. So you're probably familiar with the little tessellated lizards. It's like an Escher.
Oh my goodness.
Escher design. I have to be careful because the central one is attached on there, but all the other little guys are just hanging on for dear life.
So you figured out the cycle distance for each. Oh wow, that is amazing.
This is a full cycle tree. You can see the inside. You can see the inside lizard. Well, chameleon. Actually, they've changed color, so let's call them chameleons. The inside one there is at the bottom of it. It's about here, and it's I think it's about 13 lizards go through the full cycle. Yeah, and they just I'll post this design. I made this just with this project in mind.
That is amazing.
Little lizards, and so again, like I love taking things that shouldn't be spiralized and making them spiralized, because this would be actually, I mean, to just make that design would be pretty easy. It's just a little 3D lizard. I mean, it's the constraints were making it mathematical, so it would tessellate properly. But it is actually, if I shine a light, it's not really coming through, but you can see.
Oh wow, that is cool.
You can't really see it too much. When you are designing something for spiralized printing, you have to make these little incursions in, because you have to make these, essentially trick the printer into thinking there's a bunch of external surfaces inside the design, because spiralized printing just follows the external surfaces. So this lizard has all sorts of little, maybe I'll There you can see it there. It's not coming through very well, but there's
I'll do this for Tech Cheaper in chat.
Lizard.
Yeah, the
Lizard.
the scales and things like that are all little incursions. Part of the reason that I like that I do a lot of spiralized printing is that you can it's the best way to print chocolate. So I do a lot of work with cocoa press, and chocolate doesn't retract very well. So I mean, technically you can do it, but chocolate prints that where there's retraction needed or infill and things like that just don't really do it. Chocolate likes a long big stream, so that's going to be a chocolate lizard at some point in time. It's nice.
Oh wow, that'll be so fun.
It's center part, and then and everything's.
So the cycle distance for the translucent rainbow is 160 grams.
That sounds about right.
So you figured out. Wow, that is amazing. I don't think I've never done that much math.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got in my programming, I can
Yeah.
the volume is going to be just digitally, and then twist it from there. But yeah, so that was super fun. I'm going to do some more with that lizard thing, because I did the lizard. The lizard thing was just that actual design was just particularly for this for that model there. So let's see, what else should I show? Okay, well let's go right to this one. And this is the
yes.
This is the luminous.
Which is that's my absolute favorite rainbow.
Yeah, so this could print in chocolate. This is also a spiralized print, and if you look really closely at it, it's
wow.
doing growth patterns. So basically, what this I'll talk about the design process here first. So what this starts with is a point right in the middle there, and it's the top. And,
oh my goodness!
And then it branches out. So at every branch, the little line makes a decision based on how close it is to the neighboring branches, how far it's come, other parameters that I've put in there around what edges not to cross or things like that. And then it either goes straight or it branches out. So you can see the branches. They start in the middle. Some come all the way down here, and then the farthest ones are down at the bottom there. They also sort of leak around like that. So this goes through a full color cycle as well, 160 grams. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, just neat effect. I haven't been able to do like the glow in the dark thing.
So technically, that is a collaboration because Fix and Do designed my logo.
Oh, well, there you go. Thanks, Fix and Do. Yeah, great logo to work with. I had that. I saw you use that distance point up there, so I did a little distance.
That is
point.
amazing. That is so cool. And of course, the luminous. The thing I love about luminous as opposed to glow in the dark filaments is that luminous on its own looks fantastic, but it can be charged with UV light. It will does it ever take the charge? I've had luminous things and I've had a power outage and then had luminous things actually glowing like all over yeah, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, and the thing that's nice about the spiralized printing is you get super dense, the little tendrils that branch out.
And it looks like
2 lines of 0.5 millimeter.
It looks like tie-dye. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I think that'll glow. I think that'll hold the light really nice. It's nice and thick.
Oh wow.
So the other one that I did sort of along that line was the here it is over there.
Yeah. So for anyone that wants to, I don't usually send a filament to designers. Usually, they print some things, but I was like, no, Dave needs these new gradients. So right before Christmas, I was like, I just placed an order and sent it to him. I was like, I don't want him to. I'm choose your own adventure. Well, I'm choosing your adventure.
Best Christmas present ever. Yeah. No, I sat and I looked at them for a while. I had them up in the living room. I pondered them for a while. Really inspiring. So this is the crystal aquamarine, and this is I was actually thinking of you, Liz, as I'm out here on the West Coast and the crocuses and snowdrops are coming up, and you're in a snowstorm in Montreal there. So this is like a Jack Frost. It's a similar growth algorithm, but angular. So if you look closely at it, it's the little growth tendrils don't grow up like curved. They grow up and sort of branch off like a little bit more sharp. So sort of a Jack Frost thing. And this between the two of these, that's a full color cycle. So it starts at the blue and goes halfway up to the translucent, and this one is from the translucent and up back to the blue. Just some little Jack Frost designs.
I can't. The person that's in charge of Panchroma for Polymaker, his name's Tanya. I cannot wait to like share this with him, because it's going to be worth all the effort that he's put in for the last the last year, like developing these colors. And oh wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And then the
carnelian, I think that is at the
carnelian. Carnelian, which is actually a crystal. I couldn't figure out what it is. So I actually searched. It's a type of crystal, which is another obsession of my, designing crystals and things like that. So this one right here might be a sound plate, or just a decorative.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
Plate. So it's designed. It's designed to be printed with no like, this is just printed with two wall lines. So it's all of the angles. There's no overhangs or anything, and then it's just a single layer at the bottom. So you get, if you put light behind it, you'll get some really neat. You can see my hand.
Oh my goodness, that is really amazing.
Looks like those little candy corn things.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
This is going to be part of it.
I did.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This is his water dragon, so I said it's fire water.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's a whiskey dragon, but yeah, that it was so amazing the way that this was a surprise out of with that filament. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun playing with this. I mean, this is a test one. So this is these are Voronoi cells, and they're just peaked up.
People in chat says it kind of looks like dragon skin or even lava. Yeah.
The program that I designed, it lets you sort of cluster these in different ways. So this is clustered. The size increases as you go out.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Yeah, and with these ones, I usually make like a 5x5. Like the download is usually a 5x5, so people can scale it up and really cover a whole wall. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That is amazing.
Love how it came out. Yeah. And then what is this one here? Celestial Rainbow.
The Celestial Rainbow.
Yeah, which is wild. And I can't remember what the color cycle is on here, but whatever the color cycle is, it goes through like 6 different colors.
Yes. The Celestial, let me look here. For anybody who wants reference to this, the Polymaker website is really good for talking about the cycles of filament. Not every filament company does this, but if you scroll down, the Celestial Rainbow is 160 grams, and it does go through all of these amazing celestial colors. So you've got like the purple to the pink, the yellow to the green to the blue. So like, and it's they're stunning. So
and then this last one with that is just
oh my goodness. That is incredible.
So it looks like peaks and valleys, but then when you print it with the gradients, you get the water, sort of in the valleys. It's not showing up well on my camera. It's got a bit of a glare to it, so hopefully it looks.
Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, so that for sure. I mean, when I do those, I actually put a stamp on it. That's it's a grid marker, so there'll be a grid of it'd probably be a 5x5 grid. But I mean, that's things like that that's what gradient filament is made for. I think it's less made for things that are vertical, because then you get these funny stripes. Not funny. It can be a design choice. It looks good. But
it's funny because I use these the shelf, the mid-century shelf by James the Printer, but it's to show the gradient, but it doesn't that's the way I show the gradient, but it's not the best way to demonstrate to really celebrate the gradient.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly stripes. I like the ones that where you're viewing it down, so you can see the gradient effect.
That's incredible. See, you're breaking my brain and changing minds already.
Well, it's a busy week. I mean, we toyed with the idea of doing this last week, and I said, give me a week.
This is a week. This is a week, people. This is a week of him playing around. Now, so you've done some collaborations. I know that TechTuber in chat actually printed the Hadamame, some of your Hadamame designs. So did I. When I printed the Hadamames, you mentioned I've seen you collaborate with Skipper 07 and a couple other people.
Yeah,
you also, of course,
fun.
have designed things specifically for Cocoa Press.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy?
Some of my designs come on the.
Oh, that's amazing! I was a beta builder for Cocoa Press, and so I didn't get the privilege of printing a lot of your stuff because you had, I think, our timelines didn't align. But that's incredible. So what do you enjoy most about collaborating? Do you think that's something that alleviates that burnout, or how do you feel about collaboration?
For me, it's something I phase in and out of. Like right now, I'm in a non-collaborative. I'm just living in my head.
Doing your thing, yeah.
I'm doing my own thing. But there's other times I think where you're looking for more of that that back and forth and with Skipper 07, that was wonderful. 3D Print Bunny, we've done some collaborations together. I actually do a lot of collaborations, not necessarily with other 3D printers, but like I'm working with some potters right now, doing collaborations for things to design. Like when it's on the wheel, when it's spinning, and you get things that create little create your profiles. So doing a collaboration with Seattle Aquarium and some scuba divers for some reef modular reef designs. A lot of collaborations through Topography. So so I think types of collaborations, ebb and flow. But
so they definitely push you. They can push you into different or new directions. Give you some challenges.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be coming to a collaborative phase shortly in a couple of months, I'm sure.
Well, I definitely consider but I mean those filaments and you being inspired by them, I think that's enough. That's a collaboration in itself. It's incredible. Now, speaking of collaborations, is there a dream collaboration or project that you'd like to tackle in the future?
Well, right now, it's this photographer who photographs a lot of photos and AI of a lot of electron microscopy things. So like bone looks really cool when it's up close, different mold looks really close. And the thing that I love about the pictures in his work is that sense of almost entering into it. So, whether we're talking about like black mold, you look at that close, it looks fascinating. It's, you want to get in and walk around in it and look up at all the stalks and the shapes and things like that. So I'm working towards doing they'd be for resin printing, but some models like that. So I do have some people in mind that I'm thinking of collaborating with that just to make sure I'm not there. But things like taking black mold and putting some little stairways inside or something like that, sort of the architectural, like combining organic with architectural elements. So there's that's probably where that's a long-term collaboration dream. Yeah.
So by day you do physiotherapy, and so this has become sort of a side, I guess. I don't know what would you call 3D printing? Like, is it a hobby? Is it an outlet?
I mean, right now I'm actually off. I'm off work with an ankle injury. It's hard being a physiotherapist. I can't walk, so ankle injury not good for that part of life, but really good for getting into the design. So I'm using a lot of my time the last little while just doing a lot of that background work and design skills and things like that. So now I'm full on design right now. We'll see what awesome. Decides. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you have that outlet, and I mean, apologies to the world for pandemic, but I'm glad that it brought us what we're seeing from you. So you mentioned of course doing that, like the microscopic images and stuff like that. Are there any other types of models that you'd like to explore? Like, have you ever considered going back to doing some practical things? Have you played with things like Gridfinity? Oh, you have actually.
There was definitely a Gridfinity phase, and for sure it will come back.
I guess on a need basis or inspiration. What do you think?
I mean, I alluded to earlier, it's important to keep the family and happy with these hobbies that tend to expand in space. So I've allocated sort of, I think it's about 5%. 5% of my designs and prints have to have some sort of domestic function that I can justify the space and time to my wife, and in some cases my kids. So whether that's cat toys, soap dishes, or things like that. So there's a part of my design that still is functional. Honestly, functional things tend to be the designs that I do tend to be quite boring, because they're meeting a very specific need in my house, whether it's a bookshelf on this, something like this exact space. It's not going to work for anybody else, because it's a custom fit design. So I very rarely post sort of the functional things I do around the home. But
yeah, I've had that problem. I'm friends with K2 Kevin, and he'll design something, he'll send it to you. This will work for your mic stand or whatever it is. And then I'm like, oh, did you publish it? He's like, no, nobody needs that, but that was something for you to use. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens for sure.
The sort of this is not functional either, but when you talk about functional things that I'm thinking about getting back into, this. Did you ever see this in its working phase? It's disassembled now, so it's hard to tell how it works.
No.
Is that okay? So this is a 2D printer that I made with my 3D printer. So I lost the little handle, but that spins. You crank that with a little handle there, and the way that cam is formed, it deviates side to side, but also deviates radially. So you can see some are higher than others. So that cam translates that cylindrical movement through this little camshaft onto a little pen here, and the pen writes it out. So this actually says something. I think it actually says F2020 spelled out in its entirety. I think that was.
Wow.
That was one of my COVID projects. So this you spin it, and the little pen prints out F2020.
So you could work that out, so someone could propose to someone or something.
Yeah. So I did a couple of words, there's a couple of little pictures of heart and things like that.
Breakup notes. Yeah.
That was early on in my design. So that took months and months to figure out to do everything like that. I think there's a better way to do that. So that's another one of my my goals for sort of, I don't know if you call that functional. It's not very functional, but is to get back into that. It's mechanical, and I haven't done mechanical designs for a while.
So, speaking of we looked at the past. So looking at the future, are there any sort of themes? We talked about the other things, but are there other materials or forms that you haven't touched yet that you're looking at approaching? I
do want to do. A company sent me a laser cutter.
Okay.
And the program that I work with, I design in 3D, but the I can actually slice those 3-dimensional forms and then laser cut each layer out. So I do want to explore that a little bit more. Taking a 3D object and then slicing it and laser cutting the slices, whether it's just in different colors of cardstock or cardboard or acrylic, and then forming a 3D shape out of those 2D slices. So that's something I can do a little bit more of.
And now people are getting like the bamboo H2C. So like it has, you can do vinyl. Yeah, you can do vinyl cutting and all sorts of So there's it's endless possibilities just based on one thing. Yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Which of your models surprised you most once you actually printed it? So from the design to the final product.
So this right here. So I after the anatomical design phase, I really got into mathematics, and it was actually I even have the book here if anyone's interested in designing, and appreciates the beauty of mathematical designs. This is a book written by Henry Siegerman, who you'll see on socials, visualizing mathematics with 3D printing, and it's pretty accessible. It shows how you can explore different mathematical topics with 3D printing, and take things that are really theoretical and out there and actually make them physical and tangible, which I love. And there's so much beauty in mathematics. and how the universe operates, and it's very contemplative for me. And this design blew my mind. It took months and months to do. This is actually so this is a resin print. This is a
zoom in on you so people can see a little bit better.
Okay. There. Yeah, so it's called a 120 cell, and this is 4-dimensional geometry. So this is actually, so there's 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and then there's a theoretical 4-dimensional geometry that you can only visualize in 3 dimensions. I'm bumbling my description of it, but so a 3D object, you can see a 2D shadow of it. Yeah. A 4D object makes a 3-dimensional shadow. So this is a 3-dimensional shadow of a 4-dimensional object. And it's just so intricate. So all of these, there's 120 dodecahedrons, which is a 12-sided shape. And they're clustered in this little, this thing that goes infinitely small. This blew my mind. It's quite, yeah, in answer to your question. It's the design.
And of course, there's different types of learning. So if someone is an absolute visual learner, I mean, you're giving them something that, you know, when I look at things, even when I look at spreadsheets, it all sort of jumbles. But to have something in my hand, I think that would, yeah.
To read about that, it just sounds ethereal and imaginative. But to actually print it out, and I again, it took months to figure out the geometry of doing 4-dimensional geometry. So I'm really proud of that. You know, and that's something that 3D printing allows, is to have this sort of to bring an imagination out, something I can touch and I can hold and I can look at it and I can really understand it. So yeah, that was an important print.
Amazing. So I have a question. If someone prints one DaveMakesStuff model first, what do you think their first model should be? Do you have an opinion or a thought?
Well, definitely. I mean, I've done a bunch of really simple, you know, back to spiralized printing. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't get simpler.
I've done the cubes.
You get such a beautiful surface. It uses hardly any filament. So there are lots on there. It looks great with the gradient filament that you've sent. Also dual color. It looks, so there's a ton of really simple spiralized prints there. So this is just a series of boxes, different sizes, this sort of wavy texture, and the lid. You have to line the texture up, the lid texture and the box texture. And
that is so cool.
Super simple. It's fail proof. So yeah, there are lots of simple designs out there.
I think that was one of my first models of yours that I printed.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
There's a complicated benchy, so that's if you're looking for something more complex, not a first print. This was another. I got a lot of people who were first into 3D printing. This is one of their first prints, so it's a little.
Of course, yeah.
It's hard to show you. It twists apart like that. There's a little part. So a lot of people use this for proposing. There's a little part you can.
Oh, of course, yeah, with the ring in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just closes back up. I actually had a thing on Reddit. I posted this, and I not thinking it would go viral. I actually offered if anyone uses this in their proposal and shares some pictures that I would help design some table centerpieces for it. So I designed a lot of
people took you up on it
for weddings around the world.
Oh my goodness!
Closing with that. So yeah, that was another popular one.
Oh, that's incredible. So you want people to just dive right in. Now, tell me about the tooth cup. So what's the story between the teeth or the teeth cup?
It was just a tooth phase. I did a bunch of, there was
it's a phase. It's just a phase.
I filled it with these teeth, right? It was Halloween was approaching. I wanted some sort of simple. I redid it in a dual color, but the original one was just a single color print. I was just looking for something gross, and the idea of having a teacup where you put, it invites you to imagine what it would be like to put someone's teeth up to your lips as you drink from it. That's where that came from. I do a lot of designs, just like household stuff, right? It's looking around and saying, oh, there's a wine glass. Like, how can I riff on that wine glass to make something?
Oh my goodness.
So this is actually, I mean, I actually have this is my wife's great grandmother's Blossom Time tea set. That I model from quite a bit. It's got a classic design. So there's a juxtaposition there between this beautiful Blossom Time tea set and this god awful grotesque body horror tea glass. So yeah, that was it. Nothing more deep than that. Just.
Oh wow. So what else do you have behind you? What are other things that you, if you know, what describes Dave, or you know, what is?
I went through a chessboard set, so a lot of different chess pieces, and this was an original design. I called it the wormhole chessboard, and I made it just as a geometric challenge, like how, you know, can you actually do that with a chessboard? It turns out you have to have these little pentagonal pieces on there, right? So how does that work in terms of rules with chess? I hadn't a clue. I just made the thing and put it out there. As it turns out, different chess groups have picked it up, and there's rule books out there now for how to play chess on this. People have printed it off.
Oh wow!
A Canadian video game maker is making a digital version of this. So he's put together rules for what happens on these pentagonal squares with your rooks and like. So there's going to be a digital version of this out there. So yeah, I went through a chessboard phase of different weird shaped chessboards. Poinsettias.
That's gorgeous.
3D printed poinsettia. I mean, it's the leaves, you know, they all come apart. But the thing on a poinsettia, if you look closely, it's not necessarily the leaves, but the vein, the pattern of the veins on the back. Oh, this isn't coming. There. Right. So it's the detailed vein pattern, which again follows a growth pattern that you have to learn and figure out first. I printed my Christmas tree this year.
Yes.
Right. So this is again, it's resin printed, but those are spruce branches printed off. The thing that I love about doing digital or designs that mimic nature, but like biomimicry, is that you have to find the pattern that exists in it and then hide it. So because if you make something that's too patterned, it doesn't look real. If you make something that's too random, it also doesn't look real. So with these spruce branches and fir branches, the leaves or the needles actually come off the stem in a spiral pattern, but then they're randomized. So that was my enjoyment with this, was figuring that out, looking at a branch really closely and figuring out how to get the needles to spiral off, but then sort of make them randomize out like that. So there's always a huge design challenge behind every little.
Now, does that count as part of the 5% of? I'll
have to ask my wife. I did a little dollhouse just to try give a try at doing miniature things like that. I'm actually starting to work with it's called West Coast Minis. They paint minis.
Yeah. Okay. So another collaboration. And you're like, yeah. I'm taking a break on collaborations, but look at you.
That's a dollhouse. I'm going to do some dungeons, things like that later on, using the same sort of mechanism.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Oh, awesome.
I don't know. How much more do you want to know?
No, I mean, honestly,
people leaving.
So for the most part, you are Dave Makes wow. Dave Makes Stuff. We have Dave of Things, and we're streaming live on Twitch. We have Dave of Things in chat. Dave Makes Stuff. So you're Dave Makes Stuff, but most of you're publishing everything on Thangs. That's your home. So if anyone is looking for you, you are Dave Makes Stuff on Thangs. That's the best place.
Social medias.
Yeah, that's the best place to find you. So for people that are watching on YouTube, we are going to go into questions and answers and things like that, which you can only experience live when you're watching Pezliz Presents on twitch.tv/Pezliz. So there's lots and lots of questions. There's so many comments I've been pinning and stuff, and of course we'll be answering those questions. But for the YouTube people, I just want to say thank you, Dave, for sharing this. I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to see what the Polymaker partnership, like what sort of things. I know the Polymaker is going to be launching about a gazillion new filaments in this year, and all of it ranges from engineering materials to the aesthetic, the panchroma family. So I'm really excited to see what stuff you might make with Polymaker.
Excellent.
Thank you so
Looking forward to
much.
it. Yeah, thanks, Liz.